We're at Santa Pod's FIA and FIM European Finals for round 5 of the 2017 MSA British Drag Racing Championship for the Pro Mods. The schedule called for 2 days of qualifying with eliminations on Sunday, but Friday's weather has put a spanner in things, to say the least. In fact, it was early evening before the track dried and the first cars towed down for qualifying session number 1. Everyone was looking forward to a competitive debut for several of the new cars. And the first of these is John Webster's new twin-turbo Mustang. Very aptly named Fast Company. Now, John debuted this car earlier on in the season. Had a few teething troubles, to be fair, but I'm sure Johnny and the team are going to be on this with virtually no time whatsoever. But that looks much, much more like it. A few puffs of smoke towards the finish line and a 723 at only 159. The car will be in the 6s very shortly indeed. Up next, Bert Englefield with the hot rod. Good straight launch for him over towards the centre line, but pulls it back absolutely expertly. 650 at 215 miles an hour. I also have to point out as well, this was early in the evening on Friday. Very cold temperatures. A great slow-mo replay of Bert just hanging on to it. Next pair, Marco Marechat and Bobby Wallace. Bobby from the UK, Marco obviously from Germany. Marco really been making his mark in the MSA series this year. On and off the throttle on the far side of the racetrack, no trouble at all. As always, almost, for Bobby Wallace. 628, 220 for him. Mark Hartveld due to be taking on Wayne Nicholson. Wayne, unfortunately, with the lucky devil. Looks like Wayne can't get reversed, so it is Mark on a bye run. Made some great strides with this new car in the recent months and does it again. 610, 236 miles an hour. The team are rightly happy with that one. Up next in the early evening chill, Kev Slyfield back after a very short break, we're pleased to say, taking on Roger Hansen. Also Roger back for the first time at Santa Pod after his, horrible outing at the main event last year. They ended up with him in the wall and upside down and all over the place. Brand new Mustang for him. Familiar and very quick Thunderbird for Kev Slyfield. Both of them click it off a little bit early. Kev goes 9.25, Roger 7.3. Well, these two have been sparring partners for the last couple of years in MSA Pro Mod. Andy Robinson making sure the tyres are well and truly warm in the Andinger Management NGK Camaro. Up against Michel Touren with the Pro Dutch Racing Cuda. Now Michel had some horrible engine damage to start out the year. Completely demolished everything up at Tiep at one of the FIA rounds, but back together and as good as ever for him and the team. Andy and the Robinson Race Cars gang being down to Hockenheim last month. Set their fastest ever speed at over 240, and Andy on another stormer again. 6.07, 236 to Michel Touren, 6.21 at 2.31. Two newcomers to us here in the UK in MSA Pro Modified. That beautiful Pontiac belongs to Kim Christiansen from Denmark. Far side of the racetrack is the Camaro. The orange car driven by Janne Eriksson. No mistakes for either. Kim Christiansen with a 6.22 and a 6.49 for Janne Eriksson alongside him. Well, Freddie Fagerstrom, once again, making sure the tyres are nice and warm on one of the world's quickest and fastest pickups. Taking on Håkan Persson, another Swede with that very well turned out Viper. Both these two looking for 5-second passes. Not going to happen this time for either of them. The door, as traditional, pops open for Freddie. Still goes 6.49, 167. Problems all the way down that time by Håkan Persson. Bruno Barda taking on David Vector. These two matched up last time in the first round of eliminations at Hockenheim, where David red lit by a bunch. However, we are back at Santa Pod. Both of these two love this racetrack. Bruno goes 6:09, Dave 6:25. They're well and truly qualified. And the last pair for this session. Now, obviously, this is MSA Pro Modified. However, with it being a European round, there's lots of our European friends here as well. Mickey Goldquist with tyre shake, and Jimmy Orland in the old 51 didn't even make it off the start line. So after a great first qualifying run, let's get some words from Andy Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, the weather conditions were actually pretty good. Track was really nice, and the lads have spent probably most of the day trying to get the track dry and prepared, and it felt good. It was a very good run.
Very, very close to the best you've done this year.
Yeah, we ran a 6:02 in similar conditions actually at Easter, and then being an 07 yesterday, very, very pleased.
So I'm guessing if it stays like that, you can start moving up. You think there should be a little bit more there?
Yeah, we'll just tweak it a little bit now. We've got to try and go in really small steps. You know, the crew worked hard like they always do, and it's starting to come together slowly.
Yeah, it's a brand new car. We got the chassis back to Sweden in March, and the guys here, we put it together on a very, very quick schedule, and to be out on the first TERP event. And we're very happy with the car. It's looking nice and it's run good. At TERP 14 days ago, when we made our 8th pass, we went 6:01, so I think that it's very soon go into the 5s.
So with only one qualifier taking place on Friday, Saturday's weather turned out to be just as bad, unfortunately, and it was well after lunch when the cars made it down for qualifying session number 2. So in what would end up being the last qualifying session for Europe's quickest and fastest door slammers, Mick Payne from the UK gives it his absolute best, goes 7:02 at 200 miles an hour, so nearly a 6-second pass. Up next, Håkan Persson with the Viper. Now, this is going to be their only qualifying session of the day, and Håkan, with a not great run in the first round of qualifying, isn't going to be coming back after that big burnout. So unfortunately for him and for Wayne Nicholson, who got shut off as well, they won't be qualified for eliminations on race day. Another guy perilously close to not being qualified as well is Mickey Goldquist. Here he's taken on Norbert Kuno. Now Norbert didn't put in a qualifying run in that first session, which was a bit of a risky strategy, to be honest with you, when the weather is a little bit dicey, to say the least. However, Norbert knows his way down this racetrack here at Santa Pod. Both of these two capable of low 6s, maybe even high 5s. Mickey clicks it early, but still goes 6:15. Norbert with a 6:46. They will both be in the show. You can see a lot of wandering around from both of them. Norbert clicked it off before the finish line, as did Mickey, but they are in eliminations. Well, two drivers that didn't put in representative runs in Friday's only session, looking for, well, a lot better in this qualifying session on Saturday. Both of them can do it. Both of them have been in the 5s. Roger hasn't been in the 5s yet with this brand new Mustang. However, like he said in the interview, very, very close indeed already. Magnus Pettersson's old 51 with Jimmy Orland at the wheel, always a threat for the number 1 spot. And that threat comes true again. 5:97.236 into number 1. Very quickly, got to say after that as well that Roger Hansen wasn't actually qualified as a result of that run. Kev Slyfield and Bert Englefield with the hot rod both need good runs here. Bert goes red on the tree. Kev smokes the tyres, but, well, not sure whether he's going to make it. 6:71 for Bert, 2:27. Kev rolls on through. Two guys that are definitely going to be in the field, both in the 6s in their first runs of the weekend. Well, unfortunately, Janne Eriksson didn't get to put in a pass in the orange Camaro on the other side of the racetrack. Marco, with no trouble whatsoever, goes 6:17, 2:32, one of his season's quickest runs. Well, Bobby Wallace has had lots of highlights in this year's MSA Pro Mod Series. One of them was hole-shotting and nearly beating Jimmy Orland back at the main event. And I bet for the young lad from just down the road in Bedford, this is going to be one of them as well. Taking on Freddie Fagerstrom. It's only qualifying, however, it's still great fun. Bobby goes first, Freddie follows him. They're both on really good, straight, strong runs. Bobby goes 6:32, 6:21 for Fred. David Vector and Kim Christensen, both these cars, interestingly enough, built by the UK's Andy Robinson. Both of them 5-second race cars as well. Kim Christensen hasn't been there with this car yet, however the previous owner did. 6.10 for David, and Kim Christensen with a very, very good indeed, 6:12. Michel Turenne and Bruno Barder looking to improve on their runs for last night. They're both definitely in the show, but obviously it goes without saying they want to go quicker. Lots of slipping and sliding for both of them. Still a good side-by-side run. Michel goes 6:31, Bruno 6:28. So the last pair in this qualifying session. The number one spot at the moment is a 5.97 from Jimmy Orland. Either of these two cars could take that. They're both going to be gunning for it right now. Beautiful side-by-side race. Mark goes 6:12. Andy goes 6:07 again. Into the evening now, and the drivers are waiting for the third qualifying session to start, with rain showers still holding up proceedings, unfortunately.
So far, okay, except the weather, right? It's a little bit complicated to find the right hole, jumping through the rain.
And you haven't had that many runs, have you, really?
No. So it was like yesterday was a rain in the before, and it was like really chilly outside in the night. So today it's very complicated as well to find that. So we try to do our best, like everybody, I think.
You've done a lot of runs on this track this year compared to some, so it must have helped you get a handle on it.
Yeah, it will for sure. So we are still not fast enough. We ran a 17 this morning, so what is good for us. So we're still struggling with some little things, but we're on the right way. Maybe we can pick up a little bit on the last run if we can run maybe a 10 or 12 or something like that. What would be good for us?
You've had experience with the different weather here as well, there, haven't you? Warm tracks and cold tracks, which must help.
Yeah, but at the end, like you saw yesterday night, everybody was thinking, well, maybe the track is bad, but the track was perfect yesterday night. So at the end, what I saw is on the smaller races, maybe the preparation was good, but not as good as it is for the FIA races. But I'm fine with that. But even it's cold, the track is good.
So Kim, first time I think we've really seen you getting to grips here. 6:11 already. Are you happy with the way it's going?
Yeah, it's the right way. So the first time we are in the Santa Pod, so we hope we can drive much better. I mean, the track is very cold and the weather is very bad, and we hope it's much better tomorrow.
So with the rain continuing to fall, the qualifying order looks like this at the moment, with Jimmy Orland still in that number one spot.
Yeah, we had a little, yesterday wasn't that great though. When we were going first qualifying run, the whole injector iced up, so finally the engine stopped when I staged it. So, but today, first round today was a 597, which put us as number one qualifier right now, which is good. But should be able to go faster, of course. And here we are in the lineup again for the last qualifying run, and here's the rain again. So it's kind of chilly and rainy, and it's almost 7 o'clock soon, so we'll see if we make another pass today or not. I hope so.
Well, we never did get another qualifying run, so Jimmy stays at number 1 and the ladder is set for eliminations. So on to the all-important race day, and although the forecast is better, the ever-present clouds are still threatening as the cars tow down for round 1. So, round 1, Marco Mariochat taking on Freddie Fagerström. Freddie with that absolutely fabulous pickup truck. Seems to have been around forever. Well, Pro Mod wouldn't be the same without him, as is Marco Mariochat as well. Marco gets the jump off the start line. Big tyre shaking out towards the wall. Looks like Freddie's going to be taking that one. 6:36 beats a 6:87. Watch again in replay. Now Marco goes straight for the wall and the camera. Backs out of it just in time. Up next is Michel Turenne with the Pro Dutch Cuda. Loads of his sponsors here this weekend at the European Finals, taking on Mickey Gallquist. Now, both of these two qualified pretty close together, to be honest with you. Wouldn't normally expect Mickey Gallquist to be qualified as low as he was. However, as at the main event, he was kind of one run away, as always, from being number 1 or the quickest of the weekend. And Michel Turenne overcooks it on the start line. Red light, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Low ET so far, 5.94, 2.43 for Mickey G. Takes him into round 2. Kim Christiansen, we heard from him just a few moments ago, taking on the UK's Bobby Wallace. Now Bobby is in with a shout of the second spot, maybe even the top spot in the MSA Championship. Depends how today and the national finals in a few weeks go. So Bobby's been deadly consistent with the Nitrous Willis. Kim Christiansen, like he said, his first ever visit to Santa Pod with the supercharged Pontiac. Now they're both really going for it. Not much in it at the finish line, but it is the Dane with the 6.21. Takes out Bobby early on. Bobby's 6.34, still a good effort all round. Norbert Kuno and Mark Hartveld. Mark Hartveld's been another guy who's been pretty much a mainstay in England through the summer with the Voodoo Hemi. He's been down into the 6.0s with this machine. Norbert Kuno as well did the same thing. He went into the 6.0s in Hockenheim, so this could well be one of the races of the round. Not much to choose between them off the start line. Norbert got the slight jump, but Norbert fades at the finish line with the shoots out early. Mark Hartveld again with a 6.10, 2.33. That team have a lot to celebrate in 2017. David Vegter taking on Janne Eriksson. The car previously owned by Paul Brander out there in Finland, now in Janne's very capable hands. David with a massive and visible hole shot. They're both making really good runs. Dave goes 6.06 and so does Janne Eriksson. Well, he's out of competition, but Janne Eriksson's still got to be happy with that one. David Vegter moves on to round 2. Bruno Bader and Bert Engelfield. Bert had a pretty good off-the-trailer run, but then again, so did Bruno. Bruno's always one of the toughest competitors to get round in European Pro Mod racing. He was actually MSA champ a few years back as well when he raced over here for the summer. This time though, he's got to get round Bert Engelfield. It is Bruno with a jump off the start line, but tyre shaking problems for him. Bert holds on to it and takes the win with a 6.20 at 2.27. Now for the MSA Championship, that's brilliant for BA Racing, for Bert and Andy, and a bit of a blow to Bruno Bader as well. Mick Payne. Both of these cars, again, built by the man in the far lane, Andy Robinson with the NGK Camaro. Andy and the team had an awful lot of work overnight And like a bat out of hell, he's long gone. Way out in front of Mick Payne, no chance at all. And back into the 5 surrounding the team. Fantastic stuff. The team celebrate by practicing their golf swing. Congratulations to all of them though. Such a great effort after all the hard work. Up next, we got Jimmy Allen, the number 1 qualifier. He's going to be taking on the first alternate, which is Roger Hansen, for John Webster, who took no further part in proceedings after that first qualifying run back on Friday. Now, Roger, off pace in qualifying. However, as he mentioned, the car has been in the 6.0s already. Wow, massive hole shot from Jimmy Allen, and he makes no mistake at all with low ET of the weekend. It's 5.93. Roger, though, goes 6.00. Back on the start line, his crew was so happy, they decided to propose to each other.
It's going very good. Yes, we have a great weekend. Yeah, except the weather, you know, we lost 2 rounds, but yeah, we're on the good way now.
And the car is settling in quite nicely.
Yeah, it's going good for the start line, a little bit shake. So we try to get shake from the car. But yeah, 6.10 now in the first round. It's good for us.
Well, we haven't spoken to you for a few events, but this car's been going faster and faster. That, I think, was within 100th of your best ever, and you took out some real class opposition, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a good run, but I mean, the car should have run good all year. The track's been tricky, it's been too hot. So we're back to where we were now last year. First run, we just put a banker in to get in the field. Second run, I messed it up and it pulled through the clutch. So the second run was about a 21, so we knew it'd run that this morning. So
You never seem over delighted when it goes faster and faster. It's like you always expect a bit more.
it's not fast enough.
Well, let's see how fast Bert and Andy and the team can go in round 2, as they will be in it. First match-up, we're going to see 2 Swedes, Jimmy Allen with the old 51, Freddie Fagerström with the probably the world's favourite pickup. Both on the 2-step and away, pretty much together with the jump to Jimmy Allen. Freddie's keeping pace, but just not enough. 6.02 takes out a 6.23. Now, once again, it has to be said, race day, even though the weather was drier, it was still very, very cold and breezy. These teams putting in such a terrific effort to put on a show for the crowd, and obviously this is going to be a close one. Andy Robinson against Mickey Gallquist, almost dead even off the start line. Then Andy Robinson with problems. Mickey G goes through with a 5.97. Kim Christensen, Bert Englefield. Let's see if Bert can go any quicker this time round. Well, almost dead even off the start line. You can see him flying down the racetrack. Kim Christensen, though, with a 6.12, takes out Bert's very good try, 6.22. So, 2 Dutchmen up next. There are no Brits in the semi-finals of MSA Pro Mod this weekend. However, neither will Mark Hartveld be. He goes red on the tree, gives it to David Vegter. Unfortunately, he wastes a 6.21. Dave shuts off early to 6.56. So it is David Vegter and Jimmy Allen, the first half of the semi-finals. David could really do with another 5-second run about now. He's had a bunch of them throughout the summer. Jimmy Allen, I think, would settle for about the same thing, but big tyre shake for Jimmy Allen and out all over the place. It will be David Vegter with a lot of smoke out the car, 6.28 at 2.28. David is in another final. Fabulous stuff for the team. Jimmy Allen, you can see the car make a move. He expertly pedalled it, but unfortunately for him, it just wasn't enough. On the other side of the ladder, Kim Christensen taking on Mickey Gallquist. And again, the weather was really starting to close in at this time. Kim goes red on the tree. Mickey blasts on through with another 5-second run at 5.99. And then sadly the rain returned, so he never got to run the final. That means with one round still to run in the MSA Championship, the table looks like this, with Bobby Wallace still in with a chance of challenging Andy Robinson and B&A Racing challenging for that number 2 spot. And in the FIA Series, well, the win goes again to Mickey Gallquist. Please do join us at the National Finals for the final round of the exciting British Pro Mod Championship.